Hello students. Now today I am going to explain you about how many forms of the reading passages and which passage sustain note making. As you can see clearly, first passage is known as the factual passage, which is based on fact or any narrative story, which sustain 12 marks questions. Second passage is discursive passage, which sustain or contains 8 marks. In this 8 marks, first question is note making of 4 marks and summary, which we are going to explain in 80 words, that sustain 4 marks question. Now, way to represent note making. As I explained you in a previous class, the first is the format. Format is sustaining heading, subheading, and below the subheading some points required, at least 3 points, and points below that subheading, and subheading has to sustain at least 2 points. Now you can see the way it's written. The heading has to be very far away, the beginning of the heading, then after has to be changed the some distance, that should be subheading. After subheading, points has to be sustained, that should be in a one synchronized formation of that in symmetrical line. Then if you have written any subheading, then below that 2 different points has to be required. Then after abbreviation or symbols, at least 4 abbreviation or symbols we have to write. In this way your note making is going to be so a perfect form of the note making, and it's quite easy to sustain 4 marks. Now I am going to explain you through one example. One passage which is based on importance of good enough sleep. One passage has written, that is the discursive passage, which is written about a good enough sleep. What is the importance? A good night's sleep. If anyone is not getting good sleep, then what's happening? These all things. So now its note making started with the A, that is known as heading. Heading is written problems of sleep deprivation. Below that it's written subheading lack of a good sleep. And below this subheading, the 3 points written, first is written affect our health and mind. Affect is written in abbreviation form. This is the first abbreviation which I have used here by myself. Second is written problem. Problem is also in form of abbreviation of aging stress. And third is 1.3 causes mental problem. See, the point is represented here in the form of the first subheading is 1.1, 1.2 and 1.3. Then this subheading points has been finished. Now come to the second point, that is known as the good memory and mind. Memory I have used here abbreviation. Below that the subpoint, below the points are first need good sleep, and second 2.2 improve immune system. Now fourth and last abbreviation I have used here, improve IMP and dot. Now below that key of abbreviation, affect I just written here, problem, memory and improve. This is the correct way to represent a note making. By this way, yes, one more thing is I like to give you proper advice. Whenever you have to make note making, that points should not be sustained any sentence, as like I have used here as a form of phrasal sentences, but it's not a complete sentence. There are no any subject I have used here. Phrasal verb. Phrase formation like affect our health and mind. Problem of aging stress. Causes of mental problem. Means whenever you will write points, so points should sustain only phrase or a form of the command of the sentence. It's never sustain any forms of the sentence. When any student has used sentence, then evaluator won't be going to check, otherwise it's going to be a negative marking of the note making. That means you won't be get good mark, as like mark has been divided into different categories, like 1 mark for the heading, 1 mark for your subheading, 1 mark for your points which you have written, and 1 mark for the abbreviation. At least 4 abbreviation required. Now this is the correct way, it's a note making. In further class I will explain you the summary, how to write without reading second part of the passage. By using this note making, how to frame the summary. Now students, this is your homework, that you need to go through by the second passage of any book and try to write any note making. Thank you.